I just hope to continue to make more queer stuff and Jewish stuff, and maybe some Canadian stuff, who knows.
Okay, so exciting. Bottoms sneak preview here at TIFF in your hometown. How are you feeling for the sneak preview tonight?
I'm really excited and very grateful to be here. I'm from here and grew up with TIFF and TIFF Next Wave. It's a huge part of my life. And Shiva Baby was supposed to be here, or it was here, my first film in 2020. But because of COVID, there was like 20 people in this theater that were about to watch it in. So I'm very excited to watch something that I've done at TIFF, like with a full, proper audience.
It's pretty cool. And this movie has a ton of amazing laughs in it. I think that will go over really, really, really well. But how excited are you to have, or to share this queer Fight Club comedy?
I'm really excited. I mean, it's been a long time coming. I started writing it with Rachel Sennott, who acts in the movie as PJ, 6 years ago. So I'm just excited to finally like get it out into the world and have people sort of watch the weirdness of it.
Weirdness is great. There's a lot of blood.
Yes, the weirdness and the bloodiness and the horniness and all the things, yeah. And the queerness, yeah.
And the queerness. I like also that the movie starts with them talking about how they're now finally hot. So why do you think that term is so evocative? Because I immediately knew what they meant talking about that going into like a later year of high school.
Why the term hot is evocative? Finally hot. I think there's just that moment, you know what I mean, when like it's totally probably false confidence, but at some point as like a teen or young adult where you're like, oh, this is the time, you know what I mean? Like it happened finally. But I don't know, Rachel improvised that and it just worked, so I didn't think about it too hard.
I mean, Rachel's she's so fantastic in this. She was fantastic in Shiva Baby. You guys have known each other for so long, and how has your collaborations over the years grown since, working on even Shiva Baby the short to where you guys are now?
I mean, I feel so grateful to have Rachel in my life as a collaborator and as like my best friend. She's truly one of the most funny, talented, hardworking people I've ever met. And it's beautiful. I mean, working on a movie, especially your first couple movies, can be really challenging, and having someone you can rely on, like emotionally and like, for work, like accountability wise, is really rare and special. And I'm very grateful for her. Yeah.
No, it's great. And I know AO coming into the mix this time. What was it like to have her join? And I think because her dynamic as Josie with PJ, they were just so great, like yin yang, like and played off each other so well. So what was it like to see that rapport on screen in this film that you guys have nurtured for so long?
It was amazing. Like I've known Rachel and Io now for so many years since university, so it was really cool like watching them go from doing like stand-up shows and like grimy basements to like being on set in this movie that I was directing, and watching their dynamic and their ability to improvise work so well within the structure of like making this bigger film, as opposed to like just riffing with each other with like a mic, like in a comic book store or wherever I used to watch them. So it was really special and surreal. For sure.
Is it also surreal to see Io like on The Bear and get this Emmy nomination and stuff like that? What was her reaction when all that happened?
I don't know. I mean, it's so surreal to watch it happen, but at the same time, like she's always been so talented and so funny that like it's not a surprise, I feel like, to any of us. I don't know. She keeps it very like chill. She's not the kind of person to toot her own horn, so I feel like I don't often get like a oh my god like reaction out of her. I don't know, I think she just keeps it she tries to stay calm and grounded, but yeah, I'm so happy for her. Like it's been so cool to see her rise through The Bear and like theater camp and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, etc. Like she's doing amazing.
The theater camp mask work was inspired.
It really was. Yeah, she did amazing.
I also want to talk about Kaia. I really thought she was just really funny. And of course there's this great scene near the end of the movie that I won't spoil, where she and PJ have a moment. But Kaia's never really acted in a comedy before. What did you see in her that you knew would be so funny or so great to play off of Rachel as preview?
Sure. Well, I think like what's so fun about Kaia is that everyone kind of associates her with a certain kind of persona, and what was so fun about her role in this was that she kind of got to make fun of that a little bit. But honestly, like when we saw her audition tape, like I think we all saw someone who was like fully committed to her character and at the same time like knew the tone of the movie and knew the tone of the world, and so she could play camp while also like fully believing her character, and that just makes it so much funnier. Like I feel like I don't love the type of comedic acting where you're like hamming up the jokes, but she was just so dropped in and so deadpan and dry, and it really worked.
She's a jewelry designer.
Yeah, she's a jewelry designer in
Nobody
the movie.
talks about it.
No, and no one talks about it. No one's even talking about it on this freaking press tour. So yeah, I'm glad you brought it up.
Thank you. I pay that forward. I also thought Marshall Lynch was hilarious. We've seen him in comedies, of course, Murder Mystery on Netflix, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. But as Mr. G, he brings a very unique, divorced gravitas. How did he become a part of this?
Honestly, I saw his episode in Murderville, and I heard that show is completely improvised, and I thought it was brilliant, and we always wanted someone who was super unexpected for this role of Mr. G, and we just offered it to him, and I remember he was like, what? Like, he was so confused because he's never acted in a movie before. And I don't know, we just talked about it a few times, and he shared with me what he was excited about it, but, you know, that he was nervous, and eventually he signed on to do it. But I don't know, it was just sort of a gut instinct of our studio exec. I can't take credit for it, Alana Mayo. But yeah, it worked out.
Very cool. Yeah, Alana she's great taste.
Alana's incredible, yes.
Tiff Next Wave. I love the shout out you gave in The New Yorker to Tiff Next Wave, and I know it's been such a big part in your career in terms of nurturing your voice. What has Tiff Next Wave meant to you, especially as you look back and see that, you know, parts of your voice were nurtured at such an early age? What has Tiff Next Wave meant to you and continue to mean to you?
I mean, I think Tiff Next Wave was the first time that I found like a film community of people my age, like people who were like equally sort of nerdy movie geeks, who cared about talking about movies and making movies and weren't afraid to be like, I don't know, like nerdy and pretentious, and that allowed me to feel more comfortable in my own goals, you know what I mean, from being around more kids who wanted to do the same thing. And also I think, you know, it gave me like validation and made me feel like grounded and like I had a thing, you know what I mean? Like Tiff Next Wave really fostered, you know, all of our goals by having workshops and bringing in other directors and like that kind of thing. So I don't know, I feel like I owe so much to Tiff Next Wave, and I'm very, like, it's surreal to be here, yeah.
I love that. You also talked a bit about your mentors, and you identified Elizabeth Banks, who's an amazing producer in this movie, but also Jason Reitman. So how have the two of them, how have you looked up to the two of them, and what moments have you guys shared creatively together?
I mean, having mentors is like a really wonderful experience. I mean, I feel like the questions I've asked them and sort of the relationships I have with both of them are different in that Liz produced this, so she knew it super intimately and, you know, knew every step of the process that we were part of. And she's also a female director, which is different, and she can lend a whole other perspective that other people don't have. And then talking with Jason is just like refreshing. I don't know, like I try to, anytime I meet a director like that I admire or not, like, or that I don't know yet, like I try to ask many questions as possible, because I'm just always curious to learn from other people, especially those who've really paid their dues and, you know, made a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Charli XCX. That's exciting. I was more excited by the use of complicated. But can you speak to the music in the film a little bit?
Yeah, I think that for the music, like, we wanted a mix of like campy, but also like sweet and romantic. We wanted some throwbacks, you know, because we wanted the movie to kind of feel timeless. But we also wanted, you know, something fun and action oriented and exciting. So, you know, I think that with the budget we have, like, we managed to sort of piece together a kind of smorgasbord of songs, especially combined with Charli's score, which is, I think she did an incredible job with Leo.
Yeah, it was really, really great. And then, you know, I know you always have a lot on the go, but now that Bottoms is about to be released to Canada, how are you feeling, and what do you hope to work on next?
I just hope to continue to make more queer stuff and Jewish stuff, and maybe some Canadian stuff. Who knows? And take my time. I think because I'm so lucky, I got to make Shiva Baby and Bottoms like so closely back to back. But would love a break. So I'm sort of in that zone right now.
Like the video? Then hit the button, or better yet, drop us a comment. Then check out our latest videos here. And don't forget to subscribe by hitting the button here for more celebrity interviews and entertainment news.